Good afternoon. This is Reverend Mary Hawk, and I am here with Gayle Tracy Mole, and this is Everything Psychic. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for everyone's support of the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon. We are on our way to the Parliament of World's Religions. Gail and I are here to talk about everything psychic. We'll be talking about different kinds of divination. We'll be happy to take your questions posted in chat and do many readings. So go ahead and post those questions for us
We
and
really
we'll be
enjoyed
happy
it.
to answer them for you.
Yes.
So,
I really
and
enjoyed doing this, don't you, Mary, and all the different questions and just um I don't know who
I
has
absolutely love
wanted
it.
to ask
And just a quick update, we are at $1,085 from
woo,
our goal of $10,000.
how much
So we are on our way there.
how much longer is the telethon?
We are on until 7 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Time.
Hello, Bradley.
Hi,
Nice
Bradley.
to
How
see
are
you.
you today? Thank you for watching. Hope you are safely home from your trip now. Good to see you. And so I'm going to highlight a couple of things from the auction right now. And if anyone has a question, please post it in chat and we will get to you in just a moment.
Hopefully
So,
some people out there from the East Texas Psychic Bear page that want to ask questions. It's your chance. Come on, call in.
come on, ask your question. And the first thing I'm going to point out here is you have an opportunity for a 15-minute tarot reading with uh, the Most Reverend Phoenix Coffin Williams, who is the first priest regent of the Correllian nativist tradition. And this is a rare opportunity. So please go ahead and take advantage of that. We've also got several other readers. We have book a reading with Apu Adman Agma, and Apu is offering Luntiang Agma Natural, or I'm sorry, Lutnick Philippine Divination, or Tawa Spiritual Diagnosis. So these are Filipino spiritual traditions. So this is a rare opportunity for a type of reading you do not normally get. We also have readings with Brian Ellicott. And if you've watched Tarot Thursday, Brian has read with me. He is a very gifted reader. Uh, and back to the auction page we go. And it'll reload in a second, folks. We have readings with my good friend Jason Hottle, also known as Fluffy. He has read with me on Tarot Thursdays, and he will do tarot, oracle runes, pendulums, Akashic record, or angelic guides. And Fluffy is a very gifted psychic as well. We have just letting the page refresh, folks. We have got readings with LaKay, also from the Philippines. He is doing traditional Philippine divination called Sit at Tala and Tawa. So again, this is a very unique opportunity to get a type of reading you just normally do not get a chance to. You can book a reading with Liz Torrey. She is doing tarot readings. She is another really gifted reader. And scrolling down here, you can book a reading with Papa G. He is a good friend of mine. He is here in Nashville. He's been running his folk magic studio for about 20 years in one form or another. He is offering tarot or Lenormand cards. He does Southern folk magic. He practices Appalachian folk magic and conjure. Runs Aroma G's Botanica with his husband. And they make incredible soap, I'm going to also add. You can book a reading with Reverend Ravenwolf Greenfield. She is offering tarot and oracle readings. And we're going to refresh again here, folks. We have some great books and items up for bid here. Mini glass bottles and funnels. Us witches need that. We've got these great uterus gang stickers. Those of us working on reproductive freedom, we need that. We've got these adorable fuzzy friends by Sir Mike Nelson. They are hand crocheted. This lovely witchy throw. I have 2 numerology charts up. I normally charge $200 for a full chart, and I will go over your 5 numbers, your destiny number, life path, soul number, personality number, maturity number, as well as we're going to look at your pinnacles and challenges for your life and how all the numbers play out. You're going to get a 5 to 6 page report with that and a 1 hour consultation with me. I do want to point out that we have the Discovery Tarot Path book by Reverend Stephanie Leon Neal. She is the first priestess and chancellor of the Correllian tradition, and she will be signing this book. And we don't have any bids on this one yet. And somehow I got on the wrong page. Back to this one. We have several other great. Yes, Gayle.
Magic just joined us as well. So thank you for joining us. He's been on
Hi, Magic. Thanks for joining us. And I want to point out one more book that we are offering in the auction, also by Lady Stephanie. And that is the Teacup Oracle. So if you are interested in learning to read tea leaves, you can get a signed copy of her book. And no one has bid on this yet. So hop in there and bid, folks.
So where is the link to go and look at the shop, Mary? Where can they find that?
I am about to post links in the chat. So in order to bid, thank you, Magic, you will go to this link to bid or do a buy now. Some of the offerings are buy now. If you wish to just donate, you will go to this link.
Book. I have never read tea leaves. That is interesting.
And here is the link if you would like to just donate. And there goes my faithful hound, Hella. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. And we are going to the Parliament of World's Religions because it's important to have a pagan presence there. We need representation. I'm looking forward to it because I've always had an interest in world's religions. Used to get in trouble as a child for reading about anything but Christianity. And I'm really looking forward to a chance to speak with people from many different faiths. But it's also important to be sure that pagans have a seat at this table. And so we're
And
raising money for the Sacred Order of the Paladins to cover living expenses while we're there. And so, what were you going to say, Gail? I think I cut you off. I'm sorry.
that's okay. You had to get in all the things about the telethon. Uh, I do think that it is important to have a presence at such organizations, though. Quite often, pagans are overlooked, and they really do a lot of good out in the world. We have been looking here locally because I run a local event, the uh, East Texas Psychic Fair, and we've been looking for an organization to work with, a nonprofit. I mean, children, pets, the food bank, all of them just are like, oh, they don't know what to do with us. So
Mm-hmm.
it's important for pagans to step up and step out and show that we do things just like other communities.
It is.
I
Now,
mean,
with Nashville Pagan Pride Day, we have always worked with Second Harvest Food Bank. They have always been appreciative of us, but I have heard from that Pagan Pride events in other places have looked for food banks to work with and been turned away because we don't want pagan food. I mean,
well, finally, what we decided to do the other day, because we've been looking to start this and we couldn't get an organization to come to our event. Although there is, I will put a shout out to Lone Star Children's Services. They do
mm-hmm.
let same sex couples and let's say alternative people, they do place foster children with them.
Good for them. And
Yes,
let's
yes.
point out that there are foster children who are LGBTQ.
Absolutely. So, we just haven't got a chance to work with them yet because they're really busy people. But um, as far as like doing the food bank and the other things, what we did the other day is we just called them and told them we're going to do a food drive and we're going to come and donate food to you. We're the East Texas Psychic Fair. And they're like, okay. But, they need to learn that there's people.
Exactly.
uh,
Besides, I promise you, if somebody is trying to figure out how to feed their kids,
They don't care where it came from.
they don't care where it came from.
No,
They
but
do not.
I think that it's an important message out there for the people that are watching and that'll watch the replay of this, that, don't take no for an answer, because you are that face in your community.
Exactly.
You are the person. And I am a firm believer in leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to
Exactly.
be more accepted, we have to go to things like the Conference of World Religions. You have to show up at the food bank and say, "Oh no, I'm with such and such." Here.
Right. We do. It's important.
It is
It
important.
is very important. And now we're going to talk about psychic stuff because that's what we're here to do.
That's what me and you do whenever we get on here together.
Yes, we do. And so here's your basic pendulum. Now, the cool thing about pendulums is, well, I've got a nice one. It's on a chain and it's hematite because hematite is one of my favorite stones.
I love some hematite.
And this was a present from a friend. So they bought me a hematite pendulum and I'm trying to keep it up on camera. But that means I got to get my old lady's shoulder up here and hold it for a while. But here's the thing, a pendulum needs to be a weight on a string.
Hmm.
Anything can be a pendulum. I could tie a piece of string on my pendulum ring.
Hmm.
You could tie a piece of string on a rock, on a button.
I
All you need to make your basic pendulum is you need something that can swing and is about, it's long enough to swing freely. I'm no good at eyeballing length. I think it's about 8 inches, but I'm not sure. I
I
never measured
say
it.
about 6, depending, 6 to 8. Um,
Okay, Peanut Gallery. My sister is off screen laughing at me because I'm not sure how long my pendulum is. You
I would
can
also
probably hear the giggle.
natural substances. I mean, you can use something else for a pendulum in a pinch. I have used my keys, my car keys.
Mhm.
I have.
Anything will work. If it's something you've got a connection with, it's better. And I have a strong connection with this pendulum because I've had it for about 15 years now.
You see, they decide to take off and leave me. I'm gonna get one, and they just take off. But the thing of it
And
is, whenever I started with them, it was about learning to hear the yes and the no in my own head. It is a way
mm-hmm,
to build your own intuition. It's a tool.
right. And so, how do you use a pendulum? And yeah, mine's quivering. It likes to get to work. So, you hold it down so it swings freely. And it's probably going to be a little more comfortable for you if you can put, if you buy one, it's going to have something to hold on to. If you make your own, you're going to be more comfortable if you put something here to hold on to than if you're trying to grab a piece of string. But you hold it and you let it swing freely. And then you attune with it. So, pendulum, can you show us? Yes, please. So, generally, back and forth is yes. Thank you. You can stop now. And pendulum, can you show us no, please?
And that can be different for different people. It's what you envision in your head and what you and pendulum agree on as your yes
Mm-hmm.
or your no. For instance, my yes is a
Thank you.
circle and my no is back and forth.
Okay,
So
pendulum, thank you. And can you show me? I don't know or I can't answer, please. And I get a great big circle for that. Thank you.
Mhm.
So the drawback to working with the pendulum is you're playing 20 questions.
It is, and I don't know how you feel about this. People ask me, "Well, how does the pendulum work? Why does that work?" But, basically, I think of it as a form of kinesiology that you are contacting your own inner knowing. Other people talk about muscle testing. I don't know if you've ever seen people muscle test. I think that the pendulum is just an extension of that. You're contacting
Hmm.
your own inner sense of knowing about what is good for you or not. Correct?
Right. Well, I think I'm contacting, you could say, my higher self, my
Mhm.
spirit guides, my connection with deity.
However you want to say it, but it's that knowingness of what is right and correct for you.
Right. Although I can do pendulum questions for other people. If somebody wants to post a yes or no question in the chat.
Mhm.
Yeah, the pendulum is saying yes, we can answer questions for
Yeah,
other
who
people.
wants to do stuff today? You got it out and got it all showed off. So,
Yeah, so if somebody in chat wants to post a yes or no question, pendulum here would like to answer.
well, you know, in the interest of doing something new today, and like you said, not everything just being about cards, I brought out my runes, which I have the
And you
25.
want to talk about, please tell us all about runes. I do not work with runes.
Well, you know, different people bring different things into your life. And there was this one woman, the thing that I got from her was runes and a bunch of grief, but I blessed her for the runes. But
People come in for different reasons.
they do. These are 25 runes. They're based on the Viking runes. And the book that I use is Ralph Bloom. Now, then, there is a lot of people who do not like his work because he took the Viking runes and he sort of reimagined them and put
Mm-hmm.
them into a new system. So, traditionalists do not like the Bloom version of runes, but that is where I started and where I learned from. But I have since known quite a few people that read the Viking way and Viking runes. And this is, I don't know what set of runes for me. I mean, I enjoy runes. I've had
Right.
runes that I've made, I've had runes that people made for me. I bought runes. I particularly like these, they're clay runes. They're
Right.
made of clay and done, but I've seen runes done out of wood, I've seen them done out of stone. They are something that you should have a they're like your cards or your pendulum. You have a relationship with it. You put your energy into it. Um, I do yes and no questions with the runes, and I do
Mm-hmm.
rune readings for people. Um, Not everybody can do those. These are more of an oracle about the self. Once again,
Mm-hmm.
not in contacting your own inner knowing, or they're about reading about a specific question for somebody. Um,
Oh, I'll
part-
give you a specific question.
okay, cool.
Will the new house be ready by the first week in August?
No. Will it be ready by mid August?
I said the first week in August.
I know. It's not going to quite get the first week in August. By mid-August, it'll be done. It might be just a tiny bit late. That's what my runes say. A tiny bit. Maybe by about
Mid-August.
mid-August. So don't get in a rush because everything takes a little while, especially with construction and houses and moving vans and all the things.
All right.
I think
Mid-August.
you'll enjoy your house.
All right. I've still got to be out of the current house by August 5th, but okay.
Well, we will see. You know, I recently moved and Mary is moving. And, you know, whenever you're young, it's like, oh, you get some friends, you buy them some pizza, you know, you put everything in the back of the pickup or you rent a U-Haul and you're done in an afternoon. Whenever you get to be me and Mary's age, it's like, it seems like it takes months to move. More stuff
Thank you, Kai.
is gonna Kai is gonna magic to make sure Mary and family doesn't have to live in a hotel.
Thank you,
I bet
Kai.
Mary and family will be perfectly fine. They've got really nice people to work with on buying their house. So it is going to be just absolutely
It's going to work out fine.
it will work out fabulous.
Does anyone else have a question? We are here to answer questions. We can take your personal question if you've got a question about divination, anything psychic. If you have a story to tell, I'll borrow one from Lord Don. He was invited on a radio show to discuss the pros and cons of Ouija boards.
Hmm.
And he was taking the pro position with the idea that a Ouija board is a tool to connect to spirit as
Mhm.
long as you use it correctly.
Yes.
And he was explaining his position, and then it was time for the con person to speak. And the guy starts out with, well, I know of a bunch of drunk frat boys who took a Ouija board to a cemetery.
This already sounds like a bad sci-fi movie. Okay.
And like, well, any story that starts out with there were a bunch of drunk frat boys
Yeah.
is not going to end well. I remember my college days. I remember coming in and finding three drunk frat boys leaned up against the door to my dorm, like, are you guys okay? We're looking for this girl. She said she'd meet us here. Do you know her? What's her name? We don't remember. Well, I'm sure she'll be along in a minute. In fast before they follow me. Okay. And let's see, Elizabeth, or actually that's Lilith, says, I love divination tarot, but I do it too little to remember my cards constantly. Well,
there is a lot of memorization to learning tarot, and it's a combo of memorization and also learning what the card means uh, on a personal level because it's a little bit
right.
of both. Uh, if you're having a hard time memorizing your cards, a lot of people take the practice of doing one card a day. They
And
pull
that is how I learn a new deck.
Yes, they pull a card a day, they read that card, they look at what that card is doing that day for them, and they really incorporate that card, and then the next day they do it again. And eventually you will get there with learning and remembering your cards. Also, it could be the deck you got. Um, Whenever you find a deck that speaks to you, oh my God, it's just
Yes.
so, it flows. It really does.
And yes, sometimes some people read a deck of cards exactly by the book meaning. They have memorized them. Some people read intuitively, and you have to read the way that works for you. Not everybody reads the same way.
And cards are a matter of study. It's a matter of knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you can change something, but you should do that with thought and care because it's a form of a mini ritual that you do the same things the same way. You pick up the card the same way each time. You know what is the top and the bottom of your deck. You know your card layout, you know what it means in those places. So it is an art. It's not just picking up a book and learning how to read cards.
Right.
Yes.
And Kai had asked, what was your most profound experience reading? And the one that is sticking out to me the most is a reading I recently did for someone who has been fighting with addiction. And I did not know this when I started reading. She had just asked for a general, what's going on in my life? But I was reading both The Tower and Death came up for her. And I was talking about the major changes in her life and how clearly something had happened where she could draw a line and say, this is the old life, this is the new life. And she just started crying and sharing her journey through addiction with me.
Mm. Um,
And I could really see the work she had put in to address the issues underneath her addiction.
um,
So that's my most profound experience that's coming to mind right now.
I have profound experiences. Just reading cards for people is a passion for me. I don't charge as much for card readings probably as I should, just because I love doing them for people. And I enjoy so much giving them validation. But I think one of the ones that I remember the most is years ago, whenever I very first started reading for the public. I read for this one lady a couple of times, and the last time I read for her, she got so mad at me. She was in the middle of a very nasty divorce, and I told her that she would win the divorce, but she would feel like she had been beaten and bruised, and that, even though she won, she didn't really win. And she was wanting me to tell her that the man she was involved with would be the one for her, and I'm like, no, you'll meet somebody and they'll be surrounded by water. And she was mad at me. She was like, oh, this lady doesn't know anything. And you go away and you feel so bad. And she called me back about 2 years later and she said, you were so right. Oh my God, you were so right. You hit it on the head. And you know, whenever we do readings for you guys, we
Mm-hmm.
have to let it flow and we have to trust that we're speaking what you need to hear and that it just comes through. It's a sense of knowing. And so whenever somebody calls me back and they give me that validation, her divorce,
Mm-hmm.
um, the judge awarded her damages of $1.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she won. He gave her a whole dollar.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of those things, but she did go on, she met a wonderful man, had a wonderful life with him, but he was totally different. Um, that's one of the ones that just comes to mind off the top of my head. There's so many. There's so many. Uh,
Right.
that would
And Kai wants to know, how many decks do I have? Do I have a deck you use the most? Well, there is a story, Kai. I have about 15 decks, and I have been using the Infinite Tarot by Lord Don Lewis because it told me to use it. It hid my other decks from me. I've told this story before, but when I got that deck through the Kickstarter, I had started using it for my daily tarot readings, but it is an unusual deck. It has the fifth suit, the suit of lamps, and it has extra cards in the major arcana. So I was reading with it for myself, and I was not yet comfortable to read for other people with it. When I get a call from a friend that I read for, and she's just had a bomb dropped on her and she needs a reading, and she likes to be for me to read for her with the Rider Waite. So I go to the drawer where I keep my bag with all my decks of cards in it, and the bag is gone. And I'm like, what is going on here? Because I had this bag out reading for someone else about a week ago. And she's on the phone freaking out, and I can't find my bag. And I said, okay, I've got another deck I can read for you with. I might have to consult the book a little. It's similar to the Rider Waite, but not quite. And she's like, I just need a reading. So I read for her, and she wasn't happy with what I told her, but I was right. And I have been reading mostly with the Infinite Tarot after that because for quite a while it was the only deck I could find. And then I finally did find the other decks in their bag behind something. I had to go fishing for it with my cane to get to it.
Cards are funny. They will hide themselves from you. I believe it was Elizabeth was saying she was a deck hoarder. I am such a deck hoarder. I have just at a guesstimate, I have about 40, 50 decks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used all of them at one point in time. Um, I think that you use some more than others. I also think that decks are a gateway to learning. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about you, Mary, but anytime I get a new deck, and I really start using it, it's sort of a level up thing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
It is definitely a level up. I have at times given people a choice of decks, just which one do you like?
Mhm.
And Kai says she has 43. My hubby counted, LOL. Um, so learning a new deck always expands my own knowledge. And Kai is asking, when should a reader transition from free readings to friends and family to getting paid to offer readings? Well, I'd like to say when you feel comfortable, but that's not how it happened for me. My high priest was running Nashville Pagan Pride Day, and he was running a tarot fundraiser, and he said, I put you down. I'm like, I'm not ready to read for other people yet. Yes, you are. Be here with your decks at such and such time. But
Um,
but but you're ready. So yeah, I got drafted.
you got drafted, huh?
I
Um,
got drafted, but he was quite good at giving me a push when I needed a push. I was very lacking in self-confidence. Do
you
I
know,
have a deck that I have made? No, Mary, I do not have a deck that I have made. Yes, Kai, I got voluntold.
um, how you transition to reading, and getting paid to read. You know, I have given away more readings than I've probably ever been paid for, because everybody knows you read. But how I think of it, it's an energy exchange. Okay. It's the same principle that we follow in Reiki. You are giving a service to them, you are giving them something, and they need to give you something back. So if you find that you're reading from people and you just feel drained, you feel like, they're taking and taking, you need to start charging because they're not respecting the craft and the wisdom of that.
Mm-hmm.
If it does not feel like it is an even exchange, then don't do it. Because people will get to where they use you for free readings and they suck you dry and you don't get anything back from it.
Right. Now,
And
I do have a couple of friends that we exchange readings. Like the
oh
friend I mentioned who called me in an emergency needing a reading, she will read for me.
yeah, and I do that all the time with friends, my family, um, different people that I've known for a long time, but they're part of my life. There is a give and take with that. That's fine. But whenever you've got that person in your life that the only time they call you is because they want a free reading, mm,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
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 you need to be done with that. Yeah.
yeah. Either you charge or you don't,
Yeah,
you
you
cut
just
them off.
very politely tell them, I am to a point in my practice where I'm starting to charge for readings, and it will be X number of dollars if you want me to read for you again. And you may lose them, but have you really lost anything because they're just sucking you dry anyway?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
I will tell you another funny story about readings. Uh, I was at my house. My husband was there, my daughter, and my sister. And a friend of mine popped in unexpectedly and asked me if I still have my magic cards. I managed not to laugh, and I assured her that I still have my tarot cards and asked her if she wanted a reading. And then she noticed that, well, my daughter and my friend like a sister were there, and she said, I guess y'all do readings too. Well, my daughter read oracle cards and my sister was learning runes, but we assured her you have our phone numbers, we can get you a reading. And then she said, well, do you remember this guy named X? That we used to work with? I said, yeah. She said, well, he's working with me now and he's in the middle of a bad divorce. And you read for me when I was in the middle of my divorce. And I was thinking it might help him. Would you charge him? I said, sometimes I charge, but he's a friend and I'll do a reading for him if he would like. She said, that's good. Between paying off the lawyer and, child support, he's really kind of broke right now. I said, yeah, I'll do a reading for him. And then she goes on to explain that his ex is walking all over him. He's got a new girlfriend and she's walking all over him. And maybe a reading would help him. And I said, well, let him know. And she says, well, I got to get on to work. I just stopped in. And my husband says, can I see your tarot deck? I said, yeah, honey, do you want a reading? He said, no, I just want to see if I can pick out the reclaim your balls and be a man card. And
Yeah.
without missing a beat, all three of us said in unison, the Emperor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kai says, I prefer, let's pull this up here. I prefer the pendulum. I hate some people are divination snobs thinking that tarot is superior. Pretty crystals on the end of a chain just does something for me. And I would say absolutely no one form of divination is superior to another in and of itself.
No.
Some people find certain forms of divination work better than others.
There's just some things you're drawn to more than others. Cards have always been my thing. Most people that do cards aren't really that big on astrology, I've noticed.
Hmm.
But now some people can cross over and do both. Uh, you get a lot of the same information. I had noticed that Elizabeth said that she's currently using the Wild Unknown. I love that deck. Oh, it is the most amazing, amazing deck. And
Hmm.
she had predicted a divorce 2 years ago, and it was her most memorable. Um, you know, it does something for you whenever you read and people tell you that you're right. I love the feedback. And sometimes, like the one lady, she told me, no, 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 but then I'm right.
Yeah,
It's always good. We love hearing your stories. We love knowing whenever we did or didn't hit the mark. It makes
right. We do.
a difference. Yes, because
We
it's all
really love hearing your stories.
yes. If we didn't love a story, we wouldn't read cards, correct, Mary?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. The Rider Waite is the easiest for me to read after the decks of the Wild Unknown. I actually like to teach on the Rider Waite, Elizabeth, uh, just because most decks that are out there now somewhat mirror the Rider Waite. They may add a card or two, they may change the names, but for the
Mhm.
most part, um,
Exactly.
Rider Waite is sort of the ABCs of learning cards and decks.
Right.
Yeah.
And most books written out there are written about the Rider Waite.
Yeah, like I said, it's sort of the baseline for all of the others that follow. And I think most people, Elizabeth, start out reading some from the book and some from intuition. I personally very seldom read from the book anymore with any of my decks. Um,
Right.
I think that eventually you come to a point that you're comfortable enough that you don't have to have the book. To be honest with you, I don't know that I have to have cards to read for somebody anymore, but I tell people they're a cheat. They're a way into your energy system. And I
Hmm.
think people need the visual,
Yes.
and it's a click for me to cue up the words so that they come out.
Right. And hello, Melanie. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to talk a little about numerology. And numerology is the study of the vibrations you bring into this world with your date of birth and your name. And if anybody would like to post their date of birth, I will do a quick analysis that will give us your life path number And we'll also talk about how the day you were born on, the month you were born in, and the year you were born in affect you. If anybody wants to post that.
Hello, Melanie. And yes, thank you, Elizabeth. I hope that that helped and clarified some things for you.
And Melanie says, "Ooh, me." So I need your date of birth, Melanie.
Hmm.
Okay, now I got two, Melanie and Elizabeth. So Melanie posted first, as far as I can tell, and then Kai posted. All right.
Well, look, Mary is doing numerology, and I know uh, I'm gonna do a little bit of her work of plugging the telethon here. I know that Mary has donated two numerology readings that are valued at $200 each. And you get a lot of information in those numerology readings. And can they bid on those on the site, Mary?
Yes, please go bid on the full numerology readings on Give Butter, and I will post the link again.
So go and check that out. Like we were talking about earlier, you can get information from so many different things. And a lot of people, numerology is definitely on the rise with people. I think people see repeating patterns of numbers, knowing what your numbers are. And I believe that Mary is figuring up life path numbers. So they tell you about um, different cycles of time in your own life. And I think she's got them
Yeah.
figured. So,
All right, I'm ready for Melanie. So your life path number is the number 9. Your life path talks about your innate skills, abilities. And the number 9 is a number of a completion of a cycle. It's also a very humanitarian number. Uh, with the 9 energy, you're looking at uh, some being called to do something that is for the good of humanity. A lot of people with 9s in their life path wind up doing something like going into medicine, social work. Uh, you're very focused on helping other people, helping make the world a better place. The downside to the 9 is when your plans don't work out, you can get easily discouraged. Sometimes you don't want to see the big picture, or not the big picture, but you, I'm trying to figure out how to express this. Sometimes you can get focused on what you're doing and not see the big picture. You're just focused on your narrow area.
she gets
You've
invested in
got
the world too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now for April is the a 4. The 4 energy is a very disciplined and organized energy. I'm from April as well. 4s like things neat and organized. That's a good quality. The bad quality to a 4 is we like things neat and organized. Our neat and organized. Don't mess with our neat and organized. We can't function.
Mhm.
when you mess with our neat and organized. The 29 reduces to either 11 or 2. 11 is a master number, which means a master number calls you to a special destiny, which is the master teacher or the master psychic. So that means you're here to teach and to help people with your abilities. And then 1983 reduces down to the number 3. That's a number of good fortune. It's a number of artistic creativity. So I would say you probably have some artistic abilities. You're a writer, musician, painter, crafty person. The downside to that is you can be a little unfocused. So I hope that helps you. And now, that was Melanie, Lady Venix. And now, Elizabeth, I'm going to have to ask you to post it again because for some reason I can't scroll up in chat right now.
Here, I've got Elizabeth. It's May 29th of 1979.
5/29, 1979. Okay.
Yes, and Melanie liked that. She did. She thought that.
Thank you. Give me just a moment to figure here.
You know, Mary did mine and her life path numbers on air quite some time back. And we have the same numbers, but they're in different places. So we're very alike, but we mirror each other in different weird ways.
We do. And we're going to do Elizabeth's, and then we're going to go to donation break, and I'll figure out Kai's while we're on donation break.
Okay.
So, Elizabeth, you have a 6 for your life path number. The 6 is a very loving, caring number. You're very focused on your family, on your friends. You are probably the glue that holds your social network together. Everybody comes and talks to you when they have a problem. Now, the downside to that is you don't always take care of yourself. You can be so busy taking care of everyone else around you that you don't take time to take care of yourself. So be sure you prioritize your own needs. The other downside to the 6 energy is you can tend to be kind of a busybody. You can start interfering in people's lives, and especially with your nearest and dearest have attachment issues. You don't want to let them go off and live their own lives. This is where you get the kind of stock TV mother-in-law who's always interfering and just won't let the children grow up. That's a 6 energy gone wrong. Now, with your 5 in the month of May, 5 is a really interesting energy. It is a very creative energy in the sense of being able to look at things outside the box. It can be a rebellious energy. And sometimes rebellion is good. There are broken systems that need to be rebelled against. But sometimes people rebel for the sake of rebelling, and that's never profitable, for lack of a better term. It doesn't get you anywhere. With the 11, 29 reduces to 11. So I talked about that with Melanie. The 11 is a number of spiritual destiny. And since you're seeing double numbers, which is also a sign of spiritual destiny, you are here. You're called to be a teacher and a psychic. And the 1979 reduces to the number 8, which is a number of leadership. The sort of leadership someone like a CEO, someone who can inspire people with their vision. And the downside to the 8 is you are a teacher. I love it. Downside to the 8 is sometimes not being willing to listen to other people's visions and kind of having a my way or the highway view.
I pick up that you're not a mother, but there's a lot of kids in your life. And you may become a mother by alternate means. I bet you have a lot of kids that think of you as mother.
Or you're their favorite auntie.
Yes. All of those adopted kids that mother was not a good word for them, but they get that mother energy off of you.
Yeah. Okay. And can you? It's the numbers. Okay. Can you see Kai's date of birth?
Melanie, whenever you hear us talking about Elizabeth and you identify, often whenever we're doing readings for people, it seems like I know we'll talk about this at Psychic Fair, that everybody gets similar messages that day. Everybody will be in similar places that day. That we're all working on the same things, that we're cycling in the same things. Mm.
Yep, this happens. Thank you, Kai. So we are going to go to a donation break video, and we will be back in about 5 minutes. And Kai, I will have yours.
Maybe
Yes, I can totally see that, Melanie.
Oh, we will see you guys after the donation break. Maybe we'll do some rune readings after the
You're watching
donation.
the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon. The team here would like to thank you for all of your support in assisting us in bringing a contingent of paladins to the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago, Illinois, August of this year. We are trying to raise $10,000 to assist with the basic needs of housing, food, and travel expenses. Here are some words from the members of the event team on why it is important that we reach that goal.
One of the best things about Parliament is one of the best things that we need in our society, which is unity, compassion, and fellowship, which is something I'm extremely looking forward to. And I hope that this will be inspiration for the future in helping us to be more as one in a community. So join us, continue to join us. Thank you for sharing and liking our posts, and please continue to sponsor us.
I'm Pam Kelly. I am a member of the Sacred Order of Paladins, and I am here to tell you about why are we doing a telethon and how you can help us. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what's in the future. This weekend, Friday, 5 p.m. on Eastern time, all the way till the 7th of May, which is Sunday at 7. We'll be doing 50 hours of magic and community, lots of shows, lots of guests. But what is it all for? Well, I'd love to show you about it rather than just tell you about it. We are planning to go to Chicago, the Parliament of the World's Religions. It's happening this August, and there's going to be leaders from all sorts of faiths there, as well as leaders from both the Correllian tradition. Circle Sanctuary will be there, and it's the place to be. And it's a place for us to be part of the conversation. This year, it's going to be a call to conscience, defending freedom and human rights, something that's very important to the pagan community, and also part of why we're paladins. We want to defend people, we want to protect people, and we want to be there to show a positive part of what we do as pagans. So please help us. This is happening in August, and we're trying to do what we can to raise money. And our biggest part of the campaign is this weekend. It is the road to the Parliament. So like I said, we'll be around all weekend long with lots of entertainment and shows and ways for community. So you're invited to be part of that. But also don't forget to donate if you can. The best way to donate, there's two ways, is to go to correllians.live/donate. And here are chances for you just to give an amount. And you can give credit to one of our paladins here, or none, just give it to all of us. We don't get the money, but it makes us feel nice. You know, we don't have a competition going on yet, but who knows? But it'll be friendly, obviously. The other way to do it is givebutter.com, givebutter.com/C/Correllians live. And here, not only can you donate, but you can get some more information on why we're doing this. Also, where you can watch this on Pagan World TV, on Roku, Magic TV on YouTube, or streaming live on the web at Correllians.live. And you can share this. This is a good thing too. You can share this link with other people. Not only does it give you the opportunity to donate, but here's where we have the option. We're going to have plenty of items to bid upon, and you can start the bidding on Friday. It's going to be fun. There's all sorts of things. A 15-minute tarot reading with First Priest, Most Reverend Felix Coffin Williams. That's great. All these different readings here. Look at that chainmail pentacle wall hanging. Who would want that? I see a bidding war unrolling, unveiling, becoming a thing this weekend. A numerology chart. You know, I don't know if I should look at this right now. I can't bid yet, but we will be bidding all during the event. So please join us and please donate. We really would like to be at the Parliament here, manifesting vibes and support the paladins on our road to the Parliament. Thank you so much for listening and being part of this monumental effort and historical effort. So thank you. Blessings.
From all of us here at the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon, we want to thank you again for your support. Please be sure to check out Divination Alley and get yourself a reading. Or check out our online auction that is overflowing with wonderful craft items, books, and services for sale. Remember, our goal is to raise $10,000, so please help us spread the word about the event, our cause, and be sure to stay tuned for more. So thank you all again, and may you all blessed be. Enjoy the telethon.
And we are back. Thank you all for staying with us. And Kai, I am ready to talk to you about your life path number. You have the number 7. This number is the number of someone who is a deep thinker. It can be someone who's deeply intellectual or deeply spiritual, but it is someone who spends a lot of time in thought. When you were saying earlier that you get into a meditative state when you're doing your crafting, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. That sounds very logical to me with the number 7. So you have a lot of good ideas. You can meditate on something and come up with really interesting ideas from it. The downside to your 7 is don't get so wrapped up in thinking good ideas that you don't share them with the rest of us. And I'm even thinking earlier about what you said about you invited Phoenix to go somewhere with you and he outshone you. And it's not because you didn't have the good ideas to share with people. It's just you're quieter than Phoenix. And the 7 is a number of a quiet individual. Now, you've got the 5, and we talked about that a little before with Elizabeth, but the 5 energy, it can be a chaotic, disruptive energy. It's the energy of someone who thinks outside the box. It can be rebellious. And really, the question is, are you rebelling against something that needs to be rebelled against? Or are you just rebelling for the sake of rebelling? Rebelling for the sake of rebelling doesn't get you anywhere, but there are systems in power that need to be rebelled against. Now, the 3 is the number of artistic creativity. Is anyone who knows Sir Kai surprised that she has the number of artistic creativity in her date of birth? Who all was watching Crafty Correllians in the previous show where she was showing us how to paint the Correllium, the symbol of our tradition? Kai is one of the craftiest crafters I know. So, the number 3 is perfect for her. It's a very fortunate number. It's all about artistic creativity. The downside to it can be a lack of focus, letting your energy get scattered. And 1980 adds up to 18, which is 9. So that is a number of, hang on a second, Kai, skip this. I added wrong. Can you talk for a second, Gayle? I added wrong.
A malfunction moment. This happens.
I got a bit of a sinus headache going. Kai, you still with us, honey?
Hopefully somebody is still there. I haven't seen anybody on our
9 people are watching us. All right. So we got 18.
Right now is a really good time to ask a question if you have something. And I do not believe in stupid questions. Everybody needs information.
Yes.
So this is a really good.
All right. Kai, your number is a 6, not a 7. Which makes more sense for you? Because 6 is the number of family and always taking care of people. So you're always taking care of people. Everyone's calling you. I bet your kids' friends call you mama.
Yes. Well, and we were talking about that with one of the others earlier, that their mom for a lot of different people.
Right.
And it's neat.
And then
we're not the same.
Go ahead, Gayle.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go.
Okay. And 1980 adds up to 9. 9 just takes your 6 to a higher level. Working on things that are in, it's a 6 on a higher level. You're working not just taking care of your friends and family, you're also taking care of the whole world. And I do not know what is going on with me and chat. I cannot see it all here. So that's interesting. I'm going to play with my buttons for a minute and see if I can make something happen.
Sorry about getting I went down a rabbit hole there for a second. It happens.
That's all right. Go down your rabbit hole. Kai says, Mama, I see it. Yep, that describes you, Kai, better. Mama. Sorry about my crazy addition. It's sinus headache season for me.
I think I don't know about there, but here there's been a lot of storms, and it really messes with people's migraines.
Oh, yeah. Gail knows all about my migraines and storms. She sent me distance Reiki before. Let's see what my weather forecast is for the day. I've been so busy with the telethon, I haven't looked at the weather.
Did the distance Reiki make a difference in your headache?
Yes, the distance Reiki helps. Yeah, I got storms coming in.
I was saying if you're getting a headache, there's probably a storm coming.
Yeah. I can predict storms with my headaches. And you know what? This is a gift I could do with.
Yes, yes. Some of those things that are they a gift or are they a curse?
And I got this from my father. He and I would have headaches triggered by the same thing. And I once told my brother that it was totally not fair that I inherited my father's tendency to the sinus headache and he did not. And he informed me that what is totally not fair is living in a household with two people triggered by the same, with sinus headaches triggered by the same thing.
Yes.
He said, you both get grouchy at the same time.
I actually I don't get them as bad as I used to. I think it's a difference in where you live altitude wise too. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, the Reiki that I do on people, I do often work with people who have sinus headaches. And I like to work with them in actual real time, real space. But Mary and I are connected enough that I was able to help her remotely as well. And it makes a difference. Reiki is good for that particular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that is not exactly Reiki is not a psychic thing per se, but I will tell you that knowing Reiki, learning Reiki, doing Reiki is a good container for your other practices. Much as you being Correllian and being part of a tradition, it gives you a container for all the different things you practice, correct?
It does. It absolutely does. And learning divination, or at least being exposed to different forms of divination, is part of training as a Correllian.
Yes. And it's people often ask where to start with a spiritual practice. Um, there's so many different ways that people get started with this, but I do think that one meditation,
Yes.
some form of healing modality,
Mm-hmm.
probably two of the core things that people start with.
Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome back.
I am glad you're back, Elizabeth. Thank you. Mary and I
Thank
just
you.
had each other to talk with. Of course, we can do that, but
Yeah, okay. And we're still at $1,085. Can we get a donation, folks? Any amount helps. We do need to get to the Parliament of World's Religions. So if we could get uh if we could get up to $1,100 before we turn this over to General Liz and Lady Belladonna at the top of the hour, that would be awesome. Come on, donate, bid on the auction. We need your help. And you know what? If you can't donate, if you could share this with your friends and ask them to donate, that would be great. And hey, if you're thinking, oh, I could spare this month is $5, we would love to have your $5 because remember this, if 100 people give us $5, that's 500 bucks.
Yes.
So
And
small donations we appreciate because they all add up.
one of the things that people talk about is we were talking about charging money for readings, for instance, earlier. And there's people like, well, why should we donate? And why should we do these different things? Um, you're supporting part of your own spirituality. It is
Mhm.
an energy exchange. I mean, Mary doing this is a labor of love. Me taking time out of my Saturday afternoon is about us actually caring and giving back to our community.
It is.
And it's important for people to realize, if you want to see more of these things, if you want to see more people doing this, we have to learn how to be generous with each other.
We do. And with the Parliament of World's Religions, it's important for us to show up as pagans and say, we are a world religion. We need a seat at this table.
Do you have any statistics on how big paganism is in the US and in the world now? Since you do go to the Parliament of World Religions, do you have any idea?
Well, it depends on who you ask, but let me get some statistics.
I think that those would be interesting statistics for everybody that are out there. Um, I believe,
Um,
remember correctly, isn't paganism the biggest growing religion in?
we are
Yeah.
considered to be the biggest growing religion in the US. I am looking for some statistics. That's a very good question. Uh, let's see here. Well, I've got a link saying that surveys show that over 1 million people in the US self-identify as witches or pagans, rather.
I would have honestly thought it would have been higher by now.
It just says, and it depends on who you're asking and how you ask the question.
Well, that is absolutely true. But
However, I know Oberon Zell has estimated the number of practicing pagans to be between 2 and 4 million,
mhm.
which seems reasonable to me and possibly a little low. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna depend on exactly how you phrase the question, uh, and who you're including in that. I identify, if you asked me if I were pagan, I would say yes. If you asked me if I were Wiccan, I would say yes. If you asked me if I am heathen, I would say no. Although my son-in-law would say yes, he is heathen, and he would say no, he's not Wiccan.
Exactly.
So, but if you asked him if he were pagan, he would say yes.
And a lot of people out in the world will look at you and ask if you're Wiccan. And
Mm-hmm.
if you tell them, no, I am pagan or traditional witchcraft, they will look at you and, well, what's the difference?
Right. So, but I think 2 to 4 million active practitioners is a reasonable number and maybe a little low. I can't find the website right now, but I did have find a link once where an executive at Barnes and Nobles said that he believes that the people who would buy pagan books was about 10 million.
It's definitely growing. And Elizabeth
And
makes,
by pagan books, he may have been including books that are aimed more towards people who would be considered more New Age or light workers than pagan.
yes, in the New Age and the light worker will think that they're different. But this is a debate I have with several people in my life.
But
Technically, they fall under the heading of pagan as well.
yeah, and it's how do you identify
Well,
is the question.
it's so true.
However, I'm going to say this. The Parliament is focused on human rights this year and protecting human rights. So it's really important in light of everything that has gone on in this country, attacking reproductive rights, attacking LGBTQ rights, the racial tensions. We need to be there and we need to speak up. And Elizabeth is saying, can't we call it eclectic? That means that's meant to be everything under the big tree, right? I mean, that sounds good to me. Jared points out that some people are still in the closet, and that's another good point. If someone felt like they could be identified somehow from a survey, they may not answer.
And there could be just as many people still in the closet as there is that are actively practicing, because somebody is buying all of that 10 million books that you were talking about. So there are
Yeah,
people out there and they're curious. They are. I personally
people
like,
are curious, but there is also the difference between someone who's curious, they buy a book, they read through it and think interesting, but not for me.
mhm, and
And
actually
that
starting to develop
that can
that.
happen, and that's perfectly valid. I bought a book when I was exploring my path. I bought a book on Buddhism. I read through it. I thought this is interesting, it's beautiful, and I cannot practice this as a way of life.
Yes. Just like there's many things about Christianity that I identify with, but I know that I am not up to that particular task. It's
Right.
not for me. It's not for me. I do like the term eclectic, Elizabeth. I
I
actually
do too.
think of myself as being eclectic.
Hmm.
Because, for instance, you read the book on Buddhism. You can't practice Buddhism, but that doesn't mean that that's not part of your practice. You borrow ideas from that.
Yeah, I mean, meditation is part of my practice. Meditation is part of Buddhism. Uh, did meditation get into Correllianism from Buddhism? Maybe.
Yeah, everybody's story is a little bit different as to how they got to this particular path.
Hmm. Yeah, and Melanie says they have always been there, just suppressed. Fear can run deep. And that is very, very true.
I personally think that a lot of what has, we were talking about it, some friends and I the other night, that what has happened since COVID, and there was so much fear, so much fear. And, we live in a pretty fear based society. I think everybody is OD'd
Also,
on fear.
also true.
I
Also
think
true.
everybody's tired of being in fear. I think that's the reason you see more people coming out of the closet than ever before. They're just they're not gonna do it anymore.
This is true. I personally started coming out of the closet because I got tired of hiding who I was.
Yeah, my kids are older and I could. And yes, Melanie, sometimes it is very hard whenever you're confronted with questions.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes. I love getting the why don't you believe in God? Because I just answer, well, I do believe in God. Several actually. Which one did you want to discuss?
yes, yeah.
Whatever made you think I don't believe in God?
Another good one is whenever somebody says they'll pray for you. Okay, I'll do a spell for you.
I'll
That
dance
tells
naked in the woods for you.
yes, yes. Mm. So it's good to think of these things before you're confronted with them, Melanie, because I think you need a few stock answers that sort of stop people in their tracks. And then you can gain some confidence. That's how I did it.
Right.
One of my best friends at one time had said, the light is one and the ways are many. And that's
Now
what
that is
I
good.
tell people. Yeah.
And Kai says, I was dragging out of the closet by taking a leadership role in the community because I was told to put up or shut up when I had ideas to improve events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I had to take over for Pagan Pride Day because, well, my high priest that had done it had moved away, someone else had taken over. It basically, Pagan Pride Day was faltering, and it got to the point that clearly, if I didn't take it over, it was going to die. And I love Pagan Pride Day. So I took it over, and you had to agree to be a visible pagan. So I called a family meeting and told my husband and my daughter, and she was 18 or 19. All right, we're going to have to incorporate Pagan Pride Day, and we're going to use this. Our house is the address. We could get protesters in the front yard. Does anyone object? No one objected.
And you go on from there. You know, Elizabeth said that she's having a hard time being taken seriously. Um, that comes with age and time, Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
For many, many, many years, my ex-husband's family, they would tell people, "Oh, you need to talk to Gayle about that." Now then she's odd, but her stuff really works. Okay? So I understand this feeling of you're the odd one, you're different, but your stuff
Mm-hmm.
really works. You know, you really get it, but they're not necessarily going to respect it because they don't know. And it just comes with time and age and standing your ground.
It does. I'm definitely the odd one in my husband's family. We're now all the way to, we just don't discuss religion in front of Mary.
Mm.
Although I did get a backwards inquiry kind of from his nephew who had been haunted, lived someplace that was haunted once when he had kids. And he's like, if I get haunted, if the haunting starts again, call me. We'll deal with it.
You know,
And Elizabeth is doubly different as being wheelchaired also. Yes, so you already stand out.
you know, what I have to say to you is embrace it. Whenever 2020 happened, I keep on going back because it was such a turning point for so many of us.
Oh,
But
it
we stayed
was.
home, and my hair got to grow out because we couldn't go to the salon, and you couldn't go anywhere, and you couldn't do anything. And I got this weird idea in my head that I was going to go ahead and make my hair purple. I have always wanted to do it. And so I went ahead and did that. And my husband's like, "Oh, nobody will take you seriously. Nobody will." you know what? I have gotten so many comments on this purple hair. I just embraced it. I owned it. And it makes a world of difference. Like you embracing your Pagan Pride Day and just going ahead and being out there. Whenever you do it, it transforms the way people look at you, and they don't know how to deal with somebody who is pagan, witchy, whatever you want to call
Right.
it, because you just simply are there and you're a normal person. You're the same girl that they met in
Right.
a wheelchair before, but now they look at you and it's like you're owning it. So maybe whenever you get to a point that you can just own it, Elizabeth, and like me with this purple hair, there's not many women around here this age running around with this color of hair. Like there's not for you. And
No,
people look
I'm
at me,
tootling around with green hair and a pentacle.
right. And they're like, people just love it. They're like, oh, I love your hair. And I told them,
Mm-hmm.
we need fun in this life. We need to embrace who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm available for reading. I'm a healer specializing in quantum healing, and I can help with needing to believe in spells and teach you to go beyond resorting and do readings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Gone. We're not going to worry about that person anymore.
No, they were sort of spammy.
Yeah. Spammy. Gone.
Yes.
Bye, Spammy.
There are plenty of people that can help you, Elizabeth, though. Feel free to reach out to any of us.
Yes.
We do that kind of work, but soliciting is not the point here.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're raising money for the telethon. That's why we're on talking for 50 whole hours.
Yes. And I firmly believe whenever you're drawn to a person, you can reach out to them. So
Yes.
if any of you are drawn to ask me or Mary questions outside of this, please feel free to
Help
do
yourself.
so. Yes. No, you're not. We saw a different
No,
message.
you're not. We got a weird message. It came through Facebook, so you probably did not see it, Elizabeth.
Yes,
It
we
was
were
someone
talking about
trying to sell services. Gayle and I can see all the messages, and I banned it. It was a spammer.
yes. No, we're not mad at you at all. So,
Not in the least.
and everybody has to start somewhere who you're attracted to.
Yeah, the spammer from a minute ago.
Yeah.
So, does anybody want to ask any questions for a mini reading? We have got.
Does anybody want a room reading? You can try
Yeah,
room.
Gayle's got her runes. I have not ever learned
Situation.
runes.
We
It's
could
kind
do
of on my list, but I haven't gotten there.
like I said, I love my runes. I think everybody should have a set of these. I think preteens should get a set of runes, and it teaches you to figure out how you feel about things. I teach people that I work with to use them to figure out, because we're not taught to feel our feelings.
Right.
Ladies. Okay.
All right. You want a rune reading, Elizabeth? Go. All right. That's all you, Gayle.
Let's see. We're going to do your present action and outcome just for whatever. I'm going to intend it to be the advice you need right now, Elizabeth. You know, where we're starting, where you're at is you're actually a very whole, very well-rounded person. You're actually quite knowledgeable. And I think you just don't always have the confidence in yourself that you're as knowledgeable as you are. So you are. And the action you need to take is you need to move out of this idea of, no, I'm not that person. No, I'm not that good at what I do, that I can't do this. Okay. I'll do you in a second. Is that Michael or Michelle?
Michael.
Yes. But Elizabeth, you need to move into being okay with putting yourself out there. I mean, it's really about facing your fear. Look at it. What is the fear? And then go ahead and face it and say, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? Because this
Brian.
unknowable fear is just killing you. And it is unknowable where you're going from here. You're stepping into being a whole person, Elizabeth. You are amazing, girl. And I bet you everybody around you knows that you are amazing. You just have to own it. That's what I get for you. You have to own your own power and you will be fine. Okay, so a rune reading for Michael. I don't know if there's a particular thing you would like to know, Michael. There's a battle Michael is not wanting to fight. It's probably a self battle. Elizabeth. Hit a wall and I am getting hold of it. It comes with age, Elizabeth. It comes with age. It really does. So, Michael, whatever battle it is that you're fighting or that you need to fight, you really have a bad case of the I don't want to's. And it seems like things are not flowing very easily for you at the moment. You have struggled with that. And Michael, you need to remember to have fun. Everything has been too serious. That's what's stealing your joy. That's what's getting you out of flow is you need to remember to have some fun. You need to remember that life is to be enjoyed. It's not about being so serious. And hopefully that hits you at the right time, Michael. I mean, that's just what I pulled for you. We will see how they respond. It's always dangerous whenever you're doing these and the person isn't in front of you. You just have to trust the message. So it's
right.
interesting to see the message. Hi, Brian.
And Melanie would like a reading.
I didn't see that. Okay.
You would.
Yes. So, Melanie. I'll take a rune reading. You felt sort of exposed, Melanie. You feel like you're not as protected as you used to be, which can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. I would probably work on my wording, especially at work. There's some things going on with that. No. I didn't turn that off. Also, Melanie, you are feeling like you're coming into a place of being very whole, of feeling very complete, of being in a good place. Oh, and Melanie says, OMG. And Michael said that helped.
Good.
So Melanie, you like I said, you need to work on your words. You're feeling very whole, but it's not necessarily been an easy time. It's not going to be an easy time. You're releasing things and you're getting new things, and it's a bit bumpy as you're doing it. But overall, the things you're working on, I would say within a year, you can turn them around. Right now, you feel like you're losing yourself a little bit, but you'll get it back. You will, Melanie. Okay, Kay says yes. Melanie agreed with me completely.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I think you will get your mojo back within the year. And it's not that you've lost it, it's just you're restructuring. Kai
Okay.
says, OMG, Mike, did you see your Correllium? It's just about ready to go.
Yay, Mike, and thank you for supporting us.
Yes.
And once more, I'm going to ask for donations, and I'm throwing the link in chat. We are still at $1,085 out of the $10,000 we are asking for. We are making progress, but please donate. And I'm going to throw up the link for the auction as well. And like I said, we have lots of beautiful items and some excellent readings available, including 2 full numerology charts by me.
I am going to go and look at the tea leaf book after we get off. I saved the link so I can go and shop a little bit after we get off. But I'm very interested in tea leaves. That's something that I haven't ever tried.
Yes, I have not tried tea leaf reading yet. It's another modality that's on my list I would love to learn. There's always more to learn, folks.
There is always more to learn. And I think that's a lot about what Pagan World TV is about. It
is, and a bit of shameless self-promotion. You can see Gayle and I on Everything Psychic this month on Pagan World TV, Friday nights at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. We'll be on Friday, May 19th and May 26th.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And once again, we answer questions here, different types of divination. I think both of us just see it as a forum for people to ask their questions and to ask about their own practice and to help people get a little bit of confidence.
That's exactly what we do. So we're coming up on our last donation break in a few minutes.
So Melanie said that she was crying because it's so true. And you know, you are so welcome for the reassurance. It's a powerful message whenever somebody who doesn't know you at all can pull that out of the ether. So that is a blessing. Thank you for sharing with me.
Yes. And we're going to show this. Sir Kai does tasiography or tea reading. And she says that Reverend Steph's book is a good book for beginners. And by the way, Reverend Stephanie will be signing her books.
That's
so if you purchase any of Reverend Stephanie's books, and I think she's donated 4 in total, she will sign them for you.
Yay. I actually intended to get you a tea leaf book.
So yes, do take a look at the tea leaf book.
It's just something new and different. And I do not know whether I would ever read tea leaves for anybody or not. But I absolutely love tea. I am a
Right.
natural tea junkie, so maybe tea leaves is my next thing. Who knows?
It certainly could be.
It could be.
It's an ancient form of divination.
You know, that's a debate. What type of divination was first? That's an interesting,
It is.
yeah. Um, I can see how tea leaves would be an older form of divination. I also think that the runes are a very old form of divination.
Runes would be an old form of divination. Probably something based on dice or something similar would be an old form.
Yes, they talk about the casting of lots, and yeah. So
Right.
dice.
And scrying. Would you consider scrying divination or something else, more spirit work?
I think scrying is a form of divination. I mean, scrying can actually it's one of those things that sort of crosses a lot of boundaries.
It does.
Yeah, because you're also doing a lot of time work and a lot of portal work with that. I,
Right.
I would say scrying and a Ouija board are very similar.
They are.
Yeah. We
They
could do
are
a whole
indeed.
thing talking about Ouija boards. You started to tell the Ouija board story earlier.
Yeah, I did tell the Ouija board story.
Yes, yes. I have some stories with Ouija boards. Beth, my oldest daughter, uh, used to have two friends that they had a Ouija board, and she would go over and stay the night with them. And she said that because I had educated her, a Ouija board is a portal. It's not a game to be played, but her
Hmm.
treated it as a game. So she would wait until they had finished with it and everybody else had passed out. And then she would go and close the board and put it up before she would go to sleep in the room. Well, one of these girls, as she got older, she has messaged me and things still follow her that came through the Ouija board.
As I said, it's a useful tool if you use it correctly.
Yes, but it is not something that is a game for teenagers. It is not.
It is not. And Melanie is sharing with us that she uses playing cards for readings because she finds tarot cards confusing. And cartomancy is, a valid form of divination. And with that, we are going to have to close and go to our final donation break. I want to thank everyone who has hung out with us. We've certainly had fun talking to you.
Yeah.
Gayle, thank you so much for joining me.
As always,
And we are,
I enjoy you.
I always enjoy working with you, and we are going to donation break.
You're You're watching watching the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon. Telethon. The team The here team would here like would to like thank to you for thank you for all of your support in assisting us in bringing a contingent of paladins to the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago, Illinois, August of this year. We are trying to raise $10,000 to assist with the basic needs of housing, food, and travel expenses. Here are some words from the members of the event team on why it is important that we reach that goal.
Hi, I'm Reverend Mary Hogg, and I am a member of the Sacred Order of the Paladins. Why are we going to the 2023 Parliament of World's Religions? Because representation matters. It's important that pagans be there to show that we are a growing tradition, that we are a viable religion, and we need to take our seat among other world religions.
Hello, everybody. I am Reverend Sir Richard Donahue, also known as Cloud the Pagan Rapper, and I am a member of the Order of Paladins. Now, to help us send a contingent to the Parliament of World Religions, to me, means one thing: community. It's the idea of coming together with multiple faiths for common goals. And it is paramount for the pagan community to have a seat at that table. And I, for one, am very, very proud that we are afforded this opportunity to do so. But to do that, we do need your help. We're trying to raise $10,000 so that we can feed and house the contingency of paladins that will be going to the Parliament. And it's through your help that we're going to be able to get there and represent the community in the best possible way that we can. So please, smash that donate button, all right? Smash that donate button. You can go to Correllians.live to donate. And I want to thank you guys for taking part in the telethon, okay? Check out our auction. Get yourself a reading from Divinationality. Do all of the things that we have provided for you throughout these 3 days, and let us come together in community and achieve our goal and allow us paladins to go and represent us at Parliament. Thank you very much. May you all blessed be.
Hello, I'm Right Reverend Sir Elizabeth, Program Director of the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon. Thank you so much for tuning in to our weekend-long event as we raise $10,000 to bring a contingent of paladins to the Parliament of the World's Religions coming up in August. We need to house and feed about 20 of us over in Chicago for 7 days. And to do that, we're going to need at least 10 grand. So here's our ask. Go to Correllians.live/donate and make us a monetary donation to our cause. Every dollar helps. We also have psychic readers and an auction you can participate in too. If you can't make a monetary donation, then do us another very big favor and share the event with your friends over social media. You can find us on the Pagan World TV app on Roku, Correllians Live and Magic TV via YouTube, and Correllians.live via any web browser. Thank you so much for your help and enjoy the show.
At the Parliament of World Religions in 2023, I'm personally looking forward to broad exposure and deep engagement with various wisdom traditions from around the world, particularly as regards pressing issues from today and future goals for our human journey. I expect that I'll be able to incorporate much of the learning back into my own personal path, as well as share tangible insights back into the metaphysical and spiritual community that I work within.
From all of us here at the 2023 Correllians Live Telethon, we want to thank you again for your support. Please be sure to check out Divination Alley and get yourself a reading. Or check out our online auction that is overflowing with wonderful craft items, books, and services for sale. Remember, our goal is to raise $10,000, so please help us spread the word about the event, our cause, and be sure to stay tuned for more. So thank you all again, and may you all blessed be. Enjoy the telethon.